Can we call you a coffee snob?
Coffee in its raw form is actually not water soluble. It doesn't dissolve in water.
Everybody who comes here wants to get a hamper.
I got to work with a lot of international donors and foundations. As a mother, you're always torn between prioritizing work, home, and baby.
Wonder Woman or Catwoman? Hi everyone, I'm Stuti and I'm your host on the Because She Can podcast. Thank you all for tuning in. Today on the podcast, we have Kanika. She is the co-founder of Cohoma Coffee, and before that holds an incredible 12 years of professional experience in diverse fields. I can't wait to jump into the conversation with Kanika. Thank you, Kanika, for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Kanika, before we talk about your incredible career experience, I have one pertinent question I just have to ask.
Yeah.
How do you take your coffee?
Well, there's a big difference in how I used to take my coffee 4 years ago when we started this to now.
Okay.
I was an instant coffee drinker like most other people are in India, but now I have my own cup of coffee brewed in a minute at home with a little bit of milk and a little bit of sugar. And that's how I like it.
Okay. So can we call you a coffee snob?
Not at all, actually. My husband would be someone who's a coffee snob for sure. I am just like every other person is. I like my usual cold coffees, my cappuccinos,
And what about like chai?
We're Indian drinker at all.
Okay, yeah.
We've had coffee from the beginning, but like I said, I think there's been a big change in the way that I look at coffee now. I enjoy my coffee since maybe 5 years ago when we actually started Cohoma. Obviously a result of a lot of tasting and sampling that we did. You understand so much more about coffee, and then just understand the taste of coffee. My palate has changed a lot since then, so I do appreciate fresh roasted coffees a lot more than I did earlier.
I need to try this coffee sometime soon.
Yeah.
So Cohoma, that's a very interesting name. What does it mean? What's the inspiration behind the name?
So the word CO in Cohoma stands for great coffee. HO is the home or accessibility experience, as you may call it. And MA actually stands for aroma. All our coffees have great aromas. So I feel like when you smell the coffee or when you have a cup of Cohoma, you're transported to a different world of coffee and coffee aroma. That's the reason of sort of having this name. And that's why our logo is also a hot air balloon, which basically means that you're transported to a world.
So before I talk about your Cohoma and your journey with the brand, I want to rewind a little bit.
Yeah.
Before that, you worked as a consultant in the corporate world for almost 12 years. So if you can tell us a little bit about your journey there.
So actually, right after I did my master's from LSE, I started working in a bank in London because I was very young. I was just 21 and I was just heard the buzzword in London as investment banking. And so I wanted to get into it, which I did.
Where were you?
I was at Standard Chartered,
Okay.
the internal consulting division. And then I also worked with a boutique investment bank for a short while called Eternus Capital.
In India?
Yes. In India.
Okay.
And then I was introduced to the development sector through an LSE alum. She's actually running a firm called Cambridge Economic Policy Associates here. And I got introduced to that and I loved it. And then there was no looking back after that. I think I've been in the development sector for about 12 years after that. Worked a lot in maternal and child health and nutrition, a little bit in education and gender.
Wow. So yeah, a pivot from finance to development but work with a larger purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which I think my take on it is probably that's why you stuck on and preferred.
It is very, very interesting work actually, because I got to work with a lot of international donors and foundation doing some very, very interesting work in maternal and child health and in education. And those are issues that are still very, very close to me.
Yeah.
And so even though I've sort of moved now and, I'm working on Cohoma, that's something, I think that's a sector I'll continue to do work in whatever way that I can.
So you're 12 years in the professional setup, and then you suddenly decide to take this leap into entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
So how did that happen? What was going on in your mind?
Yeah.
And because it's a big change.
It is. Yeah.
And we are inherently scared of change, and especially after such a long time.
Yeah. Yeah. So this was not by design. I feel like it wasn't. So my husband started Cohoma in 2018 while I was still working with the Center for Social and Behavior Change, which is again funded by the Gates Foundation.
Oh, wow. The Bill and Melinda Gates.
Yes. So I worked with them for about 3 years while my husband started Cohoma. And then I was expecting a baby at that time. I went on maternity leave, joined that for 2019.
Okay. So right before the pandemic.
Yeah. So, and right after, actually my daughter was born on the first day of the lockdown in COVID.
Oh my God. 23rd March? 25th March.
Yeah, that's right.
Wow.
So yeah, it was, just something else, I think.
Yeah.
And so I went back to my job after I delivered, after taking my maternity leave. But I think just at that point, I got a lot of time to think while I was at home, working, looking after the baby. And, there were so many changes that were happening within Cohoma also as a result of COVID that I just felt like I could contribute a lot more there. Drawing from the skill set that I had acquired over, the last 12 to 15 years of working in a job. So I started transitioning slowly by taking over the online part of our work and the e-commerce bit. And then, since then, I think I've just gone deeper into it and taken on other aspects as well. But it was sort of a slow transition that started during COVID. And
you had a COVID baby.
Yeah.
Literally the day the country went in lockdown. So she's 3 now.
Yeah, she just.
So you're a young mom, and at the same time, you've decided to, but enter into a business, which essentially for you is new. So how do you juggle that?
Well, that's a hard question to answer because I juggle things every day. It's not like it's a one-time adjustment. And I think as a mother, you're always torn between prioritizing work, home, and baby. So those are sort of things that I have to deal with on an everyday basis. So I think life has changed completely, but it's an everyday adjustment that we do. And my husband is babysitting my daughter as we speak now.
So partners at home while raising a child and partners in business.
Yeah.
I have to ask you about that dynamic. Like, what is it? How do you manage working with your husband? And like, how do you balance that dynamic of seeing him at home and then seeing him at the office?
We are very, very different in our ways of working and the way we think about things, which is both a good thing and a bad thing, because the good part is that we complement each other's skill sets a lot, right? So he may be comfortable doing something that I am not, which is where I sort of then pitch in and say, I'll take over. We also look at things very, very differently, which is very important when you're in, a customer-facing business. We always get 2 perspectives on the table, which is very, important for any brand. Because if you start looking at a product or a business from just one angle, you miss out on a lot, right? It's very important to get everybody's perspective here. And that goes back to when we started, actually, when we were finalizing the products that, we want to come up with, the blends that we want to come up with, the flavors, etc. We were very, very different in our, ideas and our decisions, which I thought really added to the brand in itself. So I'll give you one small example. We do ready-to-drink cold brews, and we do flavors within that. When we started out, my husband is not a cold coffee drinker at all. He likes coffee.
So cold coffee is just an Indian way of having coffee. Anywhere else, it'll be like an iced latte.
Yeah. Yeah, but I guess because we are, India is a big coffee drinking market as well. We have to sort of respect all consumers.
Yeah, of course.
Cater to all of them the way I like it. But my husband was dead against it, and he said, "I'm not
dead against cold coffee,
cold brews, launching ready-to-drink cold brews." And that's when I said, "I'm sorry, I like it, so we have to do it." And same goes with, we did a lot of blind tastings for our products, and we did do a lot of naturally flavored coffees as well. So that's something he wasn't really in favor of. But I think I bring that consumer side to it, because you may call him a coffee snob. Like I said, I'm a regular coffee drinker.
Yeah.
So I think those things are there. But yeah, seeing each other all the time, honestly, I don't have any complaints, because we have a 3-year-old. We barely get to spend any time together. So sometimes we get together in a conference room, in a meeting. That's the time we actually get to spend with each other.
So that's actually a blessing in this.
Now that we have a baby, it is. I don't know how it would have worked out otherwise.
Yeah.
And I think we are actually managing two very different parts of work. So I look at retail and online, and he does a lot of the B2B work. So in that sense, we've sort of separated, our working.
That was very important.
Yeah.
Your husband and you are balancing things out so well at both the work front and at home with your 3-year-old baby. But it's natural for conflicts to arise in any business that has more than one proprietor. So when that happens, how do you deal with it?
What we did from the beginning, like I said, was we sort of segregated the things that we will be managing. So things that I look at, or when it comes to be online or retail or whatever, I'm closer to a lot of things that are happening there. But there are times when I need his advice, or vice versa, in terms of, how to deal with an issue that's coming up with either a client or, how to resolve an issue at work. And that's the time that we actually sit down and talk about it. And, it's more a way of helping each other here rather than resolving a conflict, I would say. And there are times when, he needs my opinion in the B2B stuff that he's doing. And, that's when we sort of, sit down, discuss things, share ideas, etc.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I think the idea is to give the clients a good experience in whatever we do. So we end up sort of resolving it by just having a discussion and thinking about everything from that point.
So Kanika, thanks to Mr. Kejo, everybody who comes here wants to get a hamper.
Yeah.
Or like sign a coffee mug.
Yeah.
But today in our studio, we actually have a very beautiful Cohoma coffee hamper.
Yeah.
That I really want you to unbox and show everyone what this actually has.
Yes. Happy to do that. So we have this fresh roasted coffee tin here. This is one of our best selling. This is fresh ground and roasted coffee. So all of our tins actually come with a pure brew filter. So like I said, I think the idea behind Cohoma is to make great coffee accessible to everyone. We don't expect our customers to have any fancy coffee brewing equipment at home. It's good if they have a French press or mocha pot or whatever, but if they don't, we have this reusable filter inside. And all you need to do is literally put 2 spoons of coffee in the filter, pour hot water, and you get a fresh cup. That was the idea behind designing all of the products that we have. They're ready to use, and the customers are not expected to have anything with them to get a fresh cup at home or at work or on the go. So this is the original custom roast, but we also have naturally flavored coffees where flavors actually infused at the time of roasting. We don't use any artificial syrups or preservatives or anything. So, for example, our French vanilla, let me just see if that's what we have here. We do have the French vanilla. This is made with fresh vanilla. Course.
So tempting.
Yes, this is actually everyone.
I want a cup right now.
Yeah, get one after this. This is made with fresh vanilla pod.
Okay.
And that's again infused at the time of the roasting process. We also do a cinnamon hazelnut and an organic peppermint.
Yum.
Then we have these drip coffee bags. So these coffee bags are single serve coffee bags and actually perfect for work. When you're just at your desk, all you need to do is just rip it open, fix it on the mug, and then pour hot water through it. And then you can add milk or you can add sugar, just the way you like.
Yeah.
So these come in a pack of 10, but we supply these to a bunch of offices because they're the most convenient to brew while you're working and you want to take a quick coffee break in between. The third one is actually this to-go cup. This has a coffee bag inside. It has sugar, it has creamer, it has a stirrer, it has a keep sleeve. So it's perfect for traveling as well. So again, all you need is hot.
That is I've never seen that in a gift coffee hamper.
Yeah. So this is actually very convenient as well. To carry with you.
And it's reusable?
No. So this is, you won't be able to reuse it. It's a single serve bag in between as well. We also do cold brews, which is not in this hamper right now, but yeah, this is what we have.
And it's such a cute looking hamper. And I don't want to miss the little hot air balloon there,
which will transport you to a world of coffee aroma when you have it.
I love it. What's next for Cohoma? Where do you see the brand in, I want to say, the next 5 years?
I think the idea is to be India's number one specialty coffee roasting company for sure.
Okay.
And a few different ways of doing that are, we are definitely already expanding in retail, online as well. And again, I think the international market is also something we're looking at. So India is actually the 4th largest exporter of raw coffee, but we are lagging far behind when it comes to value addition. There's a tremendous opportunity, for roasted coffee in some of the international markets. So that's definitely something we're looking at. We're also planning to launch a couple of new products, which I'm not going to tell you now, but you'll be seeing that very, very soon.
Very excited for you guys.
Yeah, I think that's one thing we're very excited about. And that's going to be a big launch coming up in July as well.
Oh, fun. Right around the corner.
Yeah. It is. And I think the biggest challenge for us has been sort of, just creating a habit of fresh coffee consumption in India.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a long process because traditionally India is dominated by tea and instant coffee drinkers.
Yeah.
But the people, who do get exposed to fresh coffee in whatever form, I think there's no going back from there. And that's changing very, very rapidly in India today. I see myself as the biggest example of that. Till 5 years ago, I was a Nescafe instant coffee drinker purely because I had no other option. I wasn't exposed to any other kind of coffee. It was easy to make, which is why I think the way our products are designed is that people don't need to spend any extra time in making their coffee, yet they get a fresh cup. So if you think about it, in India, people are willing to spend those 10-15 minutes to make, tea on the stove or the gas and brew it. But nobody would want to do that for coffee because that's how the mindset is of an Indian
consumer. That it'll take a lot of time.
It'll take a lot of time, so might as well just do something quick.
Yeah.
But the way I always look at the difference between instant coffee and fresh coffee is the difference between fresh food and packaged processed food. That is what the difference is, right? Coffee in its raw form is actually not water soluble. It doesn't dissolve in water.
Mm-hmm.
It's supposed to be brewed to get a fresh cup. And we see that.
Wow, that's something I've learned today.
Because we've all grown up on instant coffee, right? So you just feel that that's how coffee is supposed to be. But
so I do, because I love coffee, I do have a fresh brew.
Yeah.
But every now and then.
Yeah.
But if I'm being very honest, I need my morning tea.
Yeah. that's fine. But I think that's also a process that's sort of slowly changing. We have a lot of our customers, for example, in retail, right, who come and ask us, we're tea drinkers.
Yeah.
And, but they do like an occasional cup of coffee once in a while. So,
Yeah.
for example, if they have like a cinnamon hazelnut or a French vanilla, that's a very change.
That's
Yeah.
I
that.
view.
Yeah. Yeah. And there are other people who have maybe 10 cups of coffee a day and they just need a fresh black coffee that they want. So the way everybody has their coffee is very, very different. And our idea is to give everybody the way, they want their cup. That's the whole idea behind all our products and the way they are designed and, the platforms that they are using to reach our customers as well.
So what are the platforms? Like, what are your distribution channels as of now?
We are available online. All our products are available on our website. We are on Amazon. We are also on LBB, on Kind Life, on UCare. We find all our products there. We are in retail, in modern trade as well as general trade.
Okay.
In fact, in Nature's Basket, we're the only ones who have a fresh coffee kiosk. So we have.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So we basically customers have the option to come and sample and get their coffee ground on the spot.
Okay.
According to the way they like it, the grind size that they want, the equipment that they have at home, etc.
Oh wow, that's very
doing that exclusively for Nature's Basket in Delhi, in Bombay, in Pune, in Hyderabad, and in all of these places as well. We're in general trade as well, in Delhi and in Bombay. And we also supply coffees and do custom menus and blends for cafes, hotels, as well as offices.
Okay.
We also manufacture our own coffee machines, but these are for sort of larger commercial purposes for hotels and cafes.
Okay. Just from the business point of view, because I wanted to understand this, revenge buying was such a big thing towards the latter half of the pandemic and now. So, and especially for consumer-facing products. I wanted to understand your experience at Cohoma with that.
Yeah. So I think 2018 is when we started, and 2020 COVID hit, right?
Yeah.
So it was a big hit for everyone, especially the hospitality and the F&B space. Everything was shut. And the only way people could get coffee or buy products was online. So in the first lockdown and the second lockdown, we actually needed some certification from the government to keep your office open.
Okay.
For non-essential commodities.
Yeah.
In India, tea is actually considered an essential commodity, but not coffee.
I was just about to ask you that. I was like, in my head, when you were like, non-essential, I was like, isn't coffee essential
for us? But according to it's not classified as that. We struggled a little bit with that, but then when we finally sort of reopened our roastery and started operations again, of course, I think that was a big shift there in terms of people wanting things to be delivered to them, ordering online on our website or on Amazon, and we were flooded with messages on our helpline and, even our retail partners as well to, supply more coffee, because that was the only way people could actually get it. Also, coffee consumption at home increased at that time a lot more, right? Because people couldn't go out to a cafe or to a hotel to get a cup of coffee. But I think the one thing that people do need early in the morning to sort of uplift their mood is a good cup of coffee. So for me, it is an essential commodity. And we saw that in COVID, that, there were a lot of customers who just couldn't compromise on that and wanted a good cup of coffee at home. So there was that change. And slowly, as things started opening up, with cafes, hotels, retail stores opening, etc., then that's also a time when, customers needed a point to go out and get coffee rather than sitting at home. So we saw that change over a period of time, but I'm glad things are back to normal now. And we are sort of back to business now.
Thank you for that coffee-filled, supercharged conversation. And after all this coffee talk, we have our last super fun segment, and it's called Rapid Fire with D. Kanika, how do you feel?
like a celebrity, Amara.
We also had a hamper in the house. Oh my God.
Yeah, so I do feel like I want coffee with Karen now.
Gosh, on rapid fire also. Oh God, so I'm really excited to do this. We call this rapid fire with D. You don't get time to think. You don't know the question. So quick, short, whatever's the first thing that comes to your mind. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Starbucks or third wave?
None.
None. You have to choose one.
Okay, now I'll say Starbucks.
Okay, so Starbucks. Wonder Woman or Catwoman?
Catwoman.
Catwoman. Oh. That's a different one. Okay, studying in London or studying in some part of Europe?
Studying in London.
Studying in Norway.
Anything in London for sure.
What is one of the best coffee shops in the world that you've gone?
So there are two actually. There's one called Pete's Coffee that's in the US. I also really like Caribou Coffee. That's in the Middle East. And I love their drinks. Again, you'll find that 100 kinds of coffees made in a different way.
Night out or coffee with the girls?
Wow. That's a difficult.
Yeah, I know. Night out. Night out. Okay, fine. You. I mean, love a coffee, but espresso martinis, right? That's the both.
That's the both.
But with Cohoma. Okay, last two questions. I think I've now started asking everyone is a book that you love that you'd recommend to everyone who's listening.
I think there's one called The Power of the Subconscious Mind. And I love that. I don't read much, but the few that I've read have been self-help books. And I feel like this one made a lot of sense to me and did sort of change my perspective in terms of how to approach things, think about things, and just gave me a lot of
one annoying habit about yourself. I'm not annoying at all.
No. I think the fact that I need to give myself a little bit more priority, and I'm not able to do that, and put my needs at par with everyone else. I think that's something I'm really struggling with, and that's something I would like to change about myself.
But that resonates. I think as young mothers and entrepreneurs, I think that's something we all need to keep telling ourselves again and again. Finally, one word that you would use to describe yourself.
I would say resilient.
Resilient?
Yeah.
We like that. Yeah. That's beautiful. And finally, what does because she can mean for you?
Because she can in itself says that a woman can do everything. There are no boundaries. And I think there's nobody as strong and as brave as a woman. And I really mean that from all my heart, having seen all the women around me, and I would like to include myself in that as well, having gone through a lot in different ways. I think only a woman can manage and come out of it.
Love that. Thank you. And thank you so much for being a part of this. Thank you for being one of our icons and being one of our idols, sharing your story. Snatching your shirt.